Part of what we will do to save California, and you got to remember our story's on water. It's no wonder the far-left lunatics are getting desperate to stop our movement by any means necessary. Okay, so we have MAGA. Now, if you ask Biden, did you see him the other night? He's saying, we must stop radical MAGA. You know what MAGA is? Make America Great Again, right? We must stop Make America Great Again. You have to be sort of, what a stupid thing to say. But think of it. This is the greatest movement in the history of our country. You know that politicians for years, if they ran in New Hampshire or Iowa, if they ran in South Carolina, early states, any state, and if they came in like second, third, fourth, they would have a great career as a political pundit. They would be celebrated. Pat Buchanan was a great guy, actually, but he came in, did well in New Hampshire, just did well. Didn't win it, but did well. And for many, many years, he was a very respected voice on television, on shows, many people like that. We won 42 states. Think of this. We didn't come in second, third, fifth, ninth. We won 42 states. And then we won 50 states. And then we had an election that was incredible. And we won in 2016. And then we had a much better election, much, much better. We did much better in 2020. We got millions more votes. But we had a rigged election. I was told by the best pollsters, Fabrizio was great, Tony Fabrizio, McLaughlin, great. Those two, they told me, sir, if you got 63 million votes, you can't be beaten. We got almost 75 million votes that they report. That's what they report, because it's much higher than that. The most any sitting president has ever gotten. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, they said, oh, at 10 o'clock, we had it made. At 3 o'clock, we just found lots of ballots, lots of ballots. That's all they know how to do is cheat on elections. And frankly, they have to do that because their policies are no good. Their policies are no good. Open borders, high taxes. As you know, crooked Joe Biden and his radical left thugs have weaponized law enforcement to arrest their really leading opponent. It happens to be me. Do you mind if I mention that? On fake and phony charges. They're fake charges. She knows better than anybody they are. This high-level election interference, and it's happening. This is what it is. It's called election interference. Try and destroy a man so that he can't get elected. And don't worry about the indictment or the subpoenas, because after the election, nobody cares. If I weren't running, I'd right now be, I could be very happy, but I like this better because we're making our country great. We're helping people, much more important. But it's all happening for a single reason, because I'm the only candidate that they don't want to run against. They're people of great misinformation or disinformation, very similar meanings. I go both. Misinformation, disinformation, very close. They always say the opposite. So they say, we want to run against Trump. We want to run. If I'm leading, they want to run against Trump. They don't want to run against me. I mean, these polls are so incredible that are coming out. They don't want to run. They want to run against anybody but me. They'll take the sanctimonious in about 2 seconds. But they say, we want to run against Trump. In last week's big ABC Washington Post poll, I'm leading by 10 points against Biden. And in another one, I'm leading by 12. Another one, I'm leading by 7. They're not happy. They're not happy. And look, how could they be happy? Who would vote for this person? Who would vote for this person? Our country is being destroyed. And, I don't know. Maybe people feel sorry for him. That's the only way he can win, is if you feel sorry. But don't feel sorry for him, because he's not a nice person. And he never was a nice person. And he goes after political opponents and things in a way that nobody ever has done other than in banana republics or third world countries. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. And in the brand new, thank you, in the brand new New York Post poll, just came out an hour ago, I'm beating Biden by 11 points when asked who you think will win. And just a few minutes before I came up on stage, the morning consult poll, that's a very big one. That's a very respected poll. I'm at 63%, and Ron DeSanctimonious is at 12%. And the others are way lower. And in New Hampshire, DeSanctimonious has now fallen into 5th place. Oh, have I done a number on that guy? Have we done a number on him? Guy had no chance of getting elected governor. He came to see me, little tears in his eyes. He came to see me. Sir, I need your help. What do you need my help for? I didn't even know him that well, but he was one of about 100 congressmen that would talk about impeachment hoax #1 and impeachment hoax #2 on television. So I saw him a little bit. I need your help, sir. I'm not winning in Florida. He was losing by like 30 points or more. He was getting killed. It was over for him with the primary taking place in a short period of time. And I said, Ron, if I were George Washington and Abraham Lincoln combined and I came back from the dead and I endorsed you, I don't think it would matter. You're gone, man. He said, sir, you're very popular in Florida. You know, I got 1.2 million more votes than him. You keep hearing how many votes. I got 1.2 million votes than him. And I'm the one that turned Florida red, not him. He didn't turn Florida red. They all go on my fumes. But I said, if you do that, then I said, look, you know, I didn't know the Secretary of Agriculture. His name is Adam Putnam, nice guy. But he was leading by numbers that were like, not as much as I'm leading these guys by, but he was leading by big numbers. It was over. They were already measuring the carpet in the State House. They were going to have the most beautiful carpet you've ever seen in the mansion, as they call it. But I said, all right, Ron, let's do it. And I did it. And this guy went up like a rocket ship. I've never seen anything like it. He was dead. In other words, without me, he was dead. And then they asked him, and then I helped him get through the general election. By the way, he was running against a very hot guy. He turned out to be a crackhead, but these are minor problems. But he was the hottest. Him and Stacey Abrams were the two hottest female male politicians in the country, Democrats. And he said, I won't be able to beat him. I gave him 3 giant Trump rallies. I said, you're going to win, Ron. I don't think so, sir. And he won, okay? Then 4 years later, they said, will you run against the president? He said, I have no comment. I said, no comment. That means that guy's running. That means he's running. And I started hitting him very early. Harmeet said, don't please, sir. He's a Republican. Don't hit him. He's a Republican, sir. I said, I don't give a damn if he's a Republican. Got to hit him. He's a Republican, Harmeet. He's a Republican. I don't care what the hell he is. And I hit him hard, and he's crashing like a bird that's seriously wounded in flight. And here in California, we're leading by a gigantic margin with Trump at 48 and DeSantis, who's now at a number that's so low they don't even know what that. I think they've given up on him. But we're leading by close to 50 points, 5-0. And for NFL fans, do you have any NFL football fans here? We will not play prevent defense. You know what prevent defense is? You hold them scoreless for almost 4 quarters, then you just have to do it once more, and they go to prevent. And prevent, right? All the football fans are nodding. There's only about 2% of you in this room. Prevent is something that's supposed to work, but it doesn't. It means you get soft. We don't get soft. We're also doing historic margins with the unbelievably great Hispanic American community. They love us, and I love them. In 2020, we did better than any president in more than 50 years, and we're going to win record numbers of Hispanic American votes next November. And the African American male has been unbelievable. Females have got to come along a little bit. Got to come along. But we're doing great. We're doing great. The radical left, that's right. And people from Vietnam love Trump. Where are the Vietnam? Oh, they are great. So many great. They are so great. They come all dressed up in those beautiful outfits. We love you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election of 2020, and we're not going to let them rig the presidential election of 2024. Do you hear that? That's you. Every time the radical Democrats Marxists, communists, fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor because I'm being indicted for you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. How about I go home to our elegant First Lady that people really love? I go home, darling, tonight about 6 o'clock, I think I'm being indicted again. Oh. The good news is she's now taking it a little bit lighter, you know, like, oh, again? How many times can you do it? I heard they were going to do it 2 more times, and they said, don't do it, to their people, to their maniacs. Never forget, our enemies want to stop us because we are the only ones that can stop them, the only ones. And we're going to get your situation taken care of in California for the vote. They want to take my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be, unfortunately for me, standing in the way. Here is just some of the agenda in closing that we will immediately implement when we become, it's all of us, we're all going to become, that's what it is. So this is a group effort. It really is. When we become the 47th President of the United States of America. I will totally obliterate the deep state we knocked out Comey and all these guys. It is deeper than anyone ever thought, but we got rid of a lot of bad ones. Comey, got rid of him. Oh, sir, why did you fire him? They found out. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It'll get settled very fast. We want to have people not be killed. They're killing hundreds of thousands of people. Horrible. Would have never started if I were president. So many things. You wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had the war of Ukraine. China wouldn't be talking about Taiwan. And you wouldn't have had the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, that horrible situation that took place in Afghanistan. You wouldn't have had that. I think it was the lowest point. I think I'd actually convinced Putin to go in. He looked at that. He said, anybody that incompetent, I should do whatever the hell I want. And I'm the only candidate who can make this promise to you. I will prevent World War III. And we're much closer than anyone else. We're much closer. And this would be a war like no other because the level of power from weaponry, from all of the weapons, the new weapons and the nuclear weapons, has never been anything like it. This would not be 2 army tanks running around shooting each other. This is a level of power that nobody's ever seen before. This is obliteration. And I will have it stopped. I will have it stopped. To stop Biden's inflation catastrophe, bring down the cost of energy for Californians to become energy independent again and even energy dominant. We were ready to become energy dominant. We were totally independent. As we were just 3 years ago, think of it, 3 years ago we were energy independent. Oil was at $1.87 a gallon. Can you believe it? We will drill, baby, drill. Going to bring down inflation, way, way down. That'll knock out inflation, a lot of it. Then we're going to get your interest rates down so you can actually go out and buy a house if you want it. Right now, nobody's buying houses because they can't get any money from the banks, right? On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. And here in California, they're wiping away the names of Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington off your schools. Under my leadership, we will once again teach our children to love America, and we will have great schools that lead to great jobs so that our children can have incredible, beautiful lives. I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or mask mandate. No mandates. You want it, you can have it, but no mandates. As I said, very importantly, I will keep men out of women's sports. We will do that. and we will gain total independence from China, and I will hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for unleashing the China virus upon the world. Something will happen with that. We will make the Silicon Valley tech tyrants answer for their illegal censorship, and we will restore free speech in America. What they did during the election was horrible. FBI and Twitter, they call it Twitter files. The 51 intelligence agents that all said the laptop from hell was from Russia. It wasn't from Russia. You know where it was from? It was from Hunter. Just as I did for 4 years, I will fully uphold your Second Amendment. Nothing happened with it. That wasn't easy. And I will secure our elections with special emphasis and force placed on California so that we can go all paper ballots, voter ID, same-day election, and you actually have to go to a booth. But until then, Republicans must win, and we must compete. We have to compete. We have to win this election. If we don't win this election, we're not going to have a country left anymore. So, in conclusion, this is what we must do to restore our country to greatness. The USA is a mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition, and a very dangerous one at that. Our currency is crashing and will no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat in over 200 years. If that happens, we will revert to a status that you wouldn't believe how low we will be. It won't happen with me, not even a chance. Just like Russia would never have invaded Ukraine, and China would not be even thinking about raiding Taiwan, and we would have left Afghanistan with dignity and strength and pride instead of our greatest embarrassment in history. We would have kept Bagram, the big air base, biggest air base in the world. We would have kept it not because of Afghanistan, but because Bagram is 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. And we left, in the dark of night, we left the lights on and we left the dogs behind. For those people that love dogs, they always say, did they take the dogs? No. And if you probably know anything about the Taliban, they're not big into the world of dogs, so you can imagine. If you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as crooked Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. We are a failing nation. We are a nation in decline. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement. It's totally corrupt, and we won't let it happen. That's why you must show up to vote in the California primary on Super Tuesday, March 5th. March 5th, that's your first one. And we'll get to November. Get every Republican you know and bring them out for Team Trump. And we're a team. We're all a team together. Remember what I said. MAGA, Make America Great Again, America First. This is the greatest political institution ever in the history of our country. There's never been a movement like this. Newt Gingrich, who's a great guy, said last night, it's a phenomenon the likes of which has never happened in our country before. Look at the crowds. Forget about this crowd. Look outside. Thousands and thousands of people knowing they can't get in, and they come anyway. 2024 is our final battle. With you at my side, 2022. It's all a battle. If you want to know the truth, stand up. Let me see. Stand up. Whoa. Thank you. Thank you, Dad. It's all a battle. But 2024 is our great battle. We have to win. If we don't win that battle, we will not have a country anymore, in my opinion. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We'll get them in. These people that want wars in every places that nobody ever heard of. We lose our youth. We lose our money. And they don't even want us in their territory. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. We will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House. And we will finish the job.